All right. Hello, everybody. It's Royce Thomason here again for another Wednesday session of offering hope and healing. I know we got started a little bit late today. Had some interesting things take place, actually. And I'll probably tell you about it in a little bit. But um, anyway, we're here as we are every Wednesday, really focusing on what we can do to offer hope and encouragement, and possibly offer a little bit of healing in the process. If anybody is interested in some healing, we may be able to uh, etch out some time to make that available as well. And so today's focus is really on really kind of handling uncertainty and dealing with uncertainty. There's a lot that there are a lot of uncertainties going on right now, even where I am in Houston, Texas, where there is a hurricane expected to hit here in a few hours. There are a lot of different things that all kinds of areas that uncertainty is showing up for us and many of our lives. Some are dealing. A lot of people. It's around the time where schools are opening back up. Some students are going back physically to a school. Some students are have started school back online, wondering how all that's going to be navigated with balancing work for the parents and school for the children. Um, Figuring out how that's going to work in terms of care and everything if someone needs to actually physically go to a work location. There's still over 16 million people who are looking for work, so there are economic concerns that people are having where that's concerned. Different people have different businesses that they haven't really been able to work the way that they had been accustomed to. Still stuff going on with this virus, and people are having a lot of uncertainties where that's concerned. There are people who've had loved ones who've passed as a result of this, or just other things going on, and so there are a lot of uncertainties that are coming up that people are dealing with, and that uncertainty can, in a lot of ways, it can create a sense of nervousness. It can create a sense of anxiety. Um, there can be a lot of, emotional, uncomfortable things that can come up. Hey there, Dulcie. And Dulcie says, how much more uncertainty can be dreamed up? Yeah, I know, right? Um, so there are a lot of things that people are just feeling uncertain, not feeling so sure about. Uh, and that can add to a lot of uncomfortable emotions. It can put people a little bit more on edge than usual, and it affects different people in different ways. And sometimes different people use different things as various coping mechanisms, or self-medicate with different things, whether it's any of the things that we typically think of in terms of addictions, including this thing right here. That's certainly a thing that a lot of people put a lot of focus on as a quick fix to take their attention off of things that might be on their minds or might be kind of stressing them out. By the way, much love to you. Aloha, Dulcie. I see that there are some other people who are here present. Uh, Feel free to just drop a comment in the chat. Let us know that you're here. We'd love to acknowledge your presence here as well. I can't see who is here unless you actually make a comment. So if you should feel so led, we'd be more than happy to be aware of you being here. So yeah, so there are a lot of different uncertainties that people are dealing with. I have kind of a 3D gig, if you will, where I teach people dealing with who are looking for work for their next opportunity. Malik, greetings to you, brother. Good to see you. Yes, we're definitely living in very uncertain times, and again, that shows up in a lot of different ways. It shows up in a lot of different ways, and so I'd like to share, and we'll get into the healing a little bit later on if anybody has that need or that request. I'd like to share just a few tips or pointers that I feel are really helpful for us in terms of being able to operate in an empowered way when we're dealing with just so many uncertainties. Okay, the first thing that I want to say in the midst of that is to acknowledge the uncertainty, to acknowledge so that you're not dealing with a lot of inner conflict. Acknowledge the fact that, okay, there is this particular thing that I'm really not certain about. And you can put all this in the form of a prayer, which will come back later and do as well. Um, Acknowledge whatever the thing is that's concerning you, that you maybe feel uncertain about where things are going in terms of the uh, climate of the country, whether we're growing closer together or further apart, hopefully closer together in the midst of all of the craziness. Maybe you feel uncertain about situations going on in relationships or about the well-being of loved ones. Maybe you feel uncertain about how well your children are going to be able to be educated in the midst of all of the changes that are taking place. Like I said, I'm in Houston where a hurricane is expected to hit in a few hours. I've been through that process before. I can't say it is a fun one by any stretch of the imagination. I was actually in Hurricane Opal in 1995, which I think was the third most powerful hurricane that it hit in terms of combination of the intensity and the size. I remember I was in college at the time, and I remember being in my bedroom and being concerned that the wall would cave in, feeling the sheer force of the wind banging against the wall, the exterior walls of the house that I was living in. And afterwards, there were all kinds of big trees uprooted, pulling up sidewalk. There were businesses that closed down. All kind of stuff blew away. Didn't have electricity or water for over a week, and just an interesting situation. Then 3 years ago, in Houston, Hurricane Harvey hit. Actually evacuated Hurricane Harvey. Ended up having to start over again because where I lived was underwater for a week and a half. Went to Florida, have family there, and then a hurricane came there, so ended up evacuating Florida. So ended up evacuating two hurricanes over a span of over a couple of weeks. But this time I don't have any intention of going anywhere. And I know there are a lot of people here in the Houston area. I don't know if anybody else here is in the Houston area or not. But acknowledging whatever that thing is, and even whatever the feelings are that are coming up in connection with whatever it is that you feel uncertain about. That's a good starting point. Okay, you can act like you're okay, but the truth is that there'll be some internal conflict going on if you're wanting to present something that's completely different from what it is that you're feeling. And so it can be healthy to actually acknowledge the uncertainty and acknowledge whatever feelings are attached to that uncertainty, whether it's worry, whether it's fear, whether it's doubt or any other kind of concern. If there's anxiety or depression centered around it, allow yourself to be present to those things, whatever those might be. All right. There are definitely certain things that are outside of our control, and beyond that, acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay that there are certain things that we cannot control. We couldn't control the formation of the earth, okay, but it ended up coming together anyway. We have no control over the rising of the sun over the horizon each morning, but each morning it takes place without us having a single hand or a bit of say-so in how that unfolds. There are many things that are going on each moment that are completely out of our control that also support us, so that we don't just have to feel fearful or anxious or any of these other negative emotions in connection to not having control over every single thing. In fact, we can actually find a greater peace if we learn to surrender that control. And that's another thing that I'd like to focus on, is working on surrendering the need to control the outcome, how things will happen. Now, I don't know what will happen in terms of this hurricane that's coming here in a little bit. I don't know if there will be out of electricity, or if my car will get flooded, or any of those things. I don't know those things. But I do know that there is absolutely nothing that my worrying about it can actually do. I can acknowledge the uncertainty, the concerns, but I can also surrender to the fact that there is a greater force at work. God sees me where I am. God sees you where you are, and knows your needs before you're even aware of them. Okay, and so surrendering that, there can be a peace that can come with that. And one of the things that happens in the presence of that surrender is that your attention may be guided other directions, and it also opens up an avenue through which things can unfold that are actually going to be beneficial to you. So I started off mentioning, I know we got started a little bit late today. So something actually happened. Aware that there's a possibility of being without electricity and things for a little while in Houston, Texas, where it feels like 100 degrees right now. I felt like it would be good to, to get some things taken care of, like washing clothes. So I put a load of clothes in the washing machine, and I got the idea, maybe I drop a couple drops of essential oil into the fabric softener section. I did put a little fabric softener in, but dropped, for whatever reason, I got this sense that it might be a good idea to drop a couple of drops of lavender essential oil and fabric softener. It's not something that I usually do, by the way. For whatever reason, I kind of felt guided to do that. Well, in the process of doing that, because the essential oil is child-proof and maybe Royce-proof too, I ended up dropping it, the bottle, which was almost a full bottle of the oil, and I heard this sound, and the sound was of glass breaking. So essential oil is actually very, very powerful. You only need a very, very small amount. In most cases, you only need a single drop. If you've got any kind of skin abrasion or a pimple or anything like that, you can drop a single drop of tea tree oil on it, and even that drop is going to run all over your skin. And then you may need to dab it up some, and that will work wonders for alleviating whatever that skin issue is. If you have a headache, even if it's a sinus pressure headache, you can drop a single drop of lavender oil right in the middle of your forehead, and that will dissipate that pressure and eliminate that congestion, that sinus pressure, and alleviate the headache, and it will happen very quickly. So essential oils are very powerful because they deal with the actual essence of the plant itself, the very essence of it. And so they're very potent, very powerful. Well, I had almost a full bottle of lavender essential oil, and the bottle broke, and it immediately started pouring all over the place. And so there is over a half a bottle of essential oil left on the floor. Well, one of the things about the lavender essential oil is lavender by nature has a calming effect. Lavender by nature has a calming effect. That's why it'll help to alleviate, what's the word I'm looking for? Inflammation. That's why it help calm things down from a mental and emotional standpoint, even help your body to physically relax. So I dropped this bottle and broke this bottle. I've never done that, by the way. I've never broken a bottle of essential oil in my life. And I've been using essential oils for quite a while. Um, in fact, I use some form of essential oil every single day. For whatever reason, this bottle dropped today. I was careful to pick up the glass, but I decided not to try to gather up all of the oil necessarily. And so now my home is filled with this profound sense of aromatherapy, i.e., the lavender essential oil. Yes, Dulcie, my floor is very, very relaxed. The floor is very, very relaxed. But one of the things that I recognize, even in terms of dealing myself, because I'm making this personal. I'm not just telling you some theoretical stuff, but things that I actually do myself. In the process of realizing that there are things I can do, things that I can't do, things that are completely out of my control, even as this hurricane is building up to a Category 4. There are certainly things that are beyond my control, things that I definitely cannot control. And I began to work on surrendering that and allowing for some peace to dwell in this space. And so the part of the way that it ended up being manifested is in dropping a bottle of essential, specifically lavender essential oil, and it breaking and spilling all over the floor, and now filling up my whole place with this calming, relaxing aroma of the lavender essential oil. Okay. I don't believe that that was by happenstance. I don't believe that that was by mistake. I definitely did not plan it out that way. But for whatever reason, there was some reason that I was guided to drop a little. By the way, no lavender essential oil ever made it into my wash. Because right when I was getting ready to put it in there, it dropped. And I figured there was enough lavender essential oil. I guess that was the reason that I was being guided to do that, so that I'd ultimately drop it and it'd spill on the floor, and this calming vibration of the lavender essential oil would be filling my home, and it will be here during the time that this hurricane is expected to come through, helping to create a sense of calmness, of stillness, of relaxation, and of peace. All right. So you want to acknowledge that things are out of your control, that there are things that are out of your control. You want to acknowledge whatever feelings are coming up in connection with that. Surrender the outcome, knowing that somehow there are forces at work. God has not forgotten about you. There's not a concern that you have that God is unaware of. And so then allowing that to be surrendered, and then allowing things to unfold however they need to unfold. Another thing is that you can focus on the things that you can control. You can focus on the things that you can control. In this particular case, and by the way, I had not planned on putting these very specific personal examples that just happened within the last hour, not even the last hour. I had not planned on sharing these specific things, but this is what ended up unfolding. So the topic, I had planned on sharing on the topic, but some of these specific illustrations. So what I could control, I can't control if there's electricity or not. I can't control if, certain things happen or not. I can't control things closing down. I can't control if I'll have internet access tomorrow. None of those things I could control. But what I could control is the fact that I can wash today. I can do some things to prepare. I was able to go and get from the Dream Tree water store. I was able to get a good supply of my magnesium mineral filled alkaline water. Um, got quite a bit of that, and so I know I'm covered where that's concerned. I was able to take care of some things with some groceries. I was able to do a couple other things. Um, Even some things that it was difficult for me to do in terms of like conversations. Again, I began to realize I don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. That's out of my control. I can't determine how someone else will respond in a conversation. There was a potentially uncomfortable and difficult conversation, uh, but I could acknowledge all the things that were coming up for me, and I could focus on what I could control. Okay. What I could control is the outlook that I took into it. What I could control was how I choose to respond, regardless of however that other person might have responded. Those are all things that I can control or could control. Focus on those things that you can control. And another thing, and this is very, very, very important. By the way, things that you can't control is never going to be another person. A lot of times when we are in a situation where we're dealing with uncertainty, where we feel that there are things that are out of control, a lot of times we immediately focus on what we can control. And what we actually end up trying to do is control other people and external circumstances, which really isn't the most appropriate place to begin. And that's why I said, acknowledge the whatever feelings are coming up and surrender the need to be attached to that outcome and however things may unfold. Acknowledging that it's all going to come together in the end, which is another point that I really want to focus on. Remember that there are forces at work that are supporting you. You don't have to do this all alone, and you're never all alone. God is always with you. There's always a cloud of witnesses in the invisible realms that are supporting you. You are never alone. You are never alone. You always have support in every moment, and you're always being tended to. You're always being cared for. And in every single moment, without a single exception, you're always deeply and completely loved. And reminding ourselves of this really helps. It really helps when we remember that we're not alone, that we're protected, that there are forces beyond what we can control that are at work. And not all of those are bad, that all things are working together for our good, in fact. That's scriptural. All things are working together for our good. And so if we can allow ourselves to take back our hands from the reins and necessarily require ourselves to be the ones who's steering how every single detail is going to unfold, there are things that we can't control, and it is appropriate for us to focus on doing those things that we can't control. But it also is very important for us to remember that there are forces at work beyond what we can sometimes see or imagine that are working for our good. And then begin to delve into a state of appreciation, that reflect upon all of the things that have happened in the past that ended up working out, things that you may not have known how they were going to work out, but somehow they came together. Okay. Somehow they came together. You may not have felt good about the situation, and there may have been some period of discomfort, but somehow it ended up not being the end of the world. No matter how difficult the situation might have been, somehow you ended up making it through it. If you're listening to this video now, if you're watching this video now, whether live or whether you're watching a playback of it, you have made it through some things. you've gotten to the other side of some things that you may not have known how you were ever going to get through at the time that those things were happening. And so remember that, and then begin to focus on things that you can appreciate. Okay? All right. That essential oil isn't cheap. um, but is it really the end of the world that I broke a bottle of essential oil and it spilled on the floor? And it's filling up my home with this beautiful fragrance. It's really not the end of the world. I can buy another bottle of essential oil. You know, some people may be dealing with things much more significant than my little trite example there. But whatever it is that you've been through, you can still find something to be thankful for in the midst of that. In this little case, because this is very much on my radar right now, because it just happened like just before I started the video. I began to think about the fact, I thought about why essential oil is so expensive. Well, these lavender flowers, how many lavender flowers had to be utilized to provide this essential oil? Okay. Then I thought again about these flowers, which are living things. They poured out their essence for my benefit. And then I started to feel a sense of honor in that. I started to feel honored that these living beings, and I don't know how many of them, it had to have taken a bunch of them, that they poured out their essence for my well-being, for my, and sometimes just the ability for me to inhale a pleasant fragrance. And maybe in this situation, just to help fill the space, my living space, with a sense of peace and calm and tranquility. Okay. And so that was something I began to give thanks for. There was a time years ago that was a bit of a difficult time, where I actually went on an exercise writing down each day 40 different things that I felt thankful for. 40 different things that I felt thankful for every day. And I did that for 40. I don't know which way it looks like for you. I did it for 40 consecutive days. For 40 consecutive days, I wrote down 40 different things that I felt thankful for. And guess what? It's difficult to sit around anxious, worried, upset, angry, when you're focusing on so many things that you have that you're thankful for and that you're appreciative of. And it really created a shift in my life at that time. Were there some days that I did not want to do it? Yes, absolutely. Were there some times when it was late at night and I hadn't done it yet and really wanted to go to bed and go to sleep? Yes, there were certainly times that I wanted to do that. But there was something about the discipline in doing that. Intentionally focusing on things to appreciate that ended up making a major difference in my life. And I believe it can do the same for you. Now, I said earlier that I was going to take these same principles in terms of dealing with uncertainty and putting it in a framework for prayer that you can put into action, that I believe will help to cause some peace to come over you and a greater sense of calm, and a greater sense of well-being to make itself manifest in your experience. I do want to ask, by the way, does anybody have anything in particular that you're feeling uncertain about, that you feel really concerned about at this time? I know that we're on a little bit of a time delay, maybe a 15, 20-second time delay from the time I'm saying it to the time that you're hearing it, because I'm doing this through a third-party application. But if you do have anything that you're feeling particularly concerned about, or that you're feeling some negative emotion in connection with a sense of uncertainty, please drop that in the comments. I'd love to be able to address that personally and directly. I don't see anything so far, but if anybody does, hopefully it'll end up showing up, and I'll be able to acknowledge that. But in terms of prayer, you can, and really, I always say that the prayer doesn't have to be some highfalutin thing. It doesn't have to be something where you're using all kinds of fancy language or anything. Really, all it has to, really, it can simply be an intimate conversation. Talk to God like a very, very dear friend, who you can share all of your secrets with. Okay, who you can be most intimate with. There's nothing that God doesn't see anyway. God knows all about it. So you're not actually just praying so that God will know about it. You're praying so that you know that God knows about it. Okay. You're praying so that you can get it from outside of your head and outside of your body, and kind of release it and put it out into the atmosphere. Okay. And to hopefully, if you're praying a scientific prayer, if you will, in a way that can actually change things on your behalf. All right. And so, yes, even in prayer, again, you don't have to be all fancy with it. Just be real. God, I don't know, or whatever you call God. Sometimes I call God Papa. Kind of inspired by the movie. What's the name of that movie? The Shack. I kind of like that. Um, uh, Sometimes I'll call God different things for the source of all that is, that I believe is personally aware of what's going on with me specifically in all of its details. But just beginning to talk, whether silently or out loud. I see on the news that this hurricane is coming. For instance, last night on the Weather Channel, they were saying Category 3. This morning on the Weather Channel, they're saying it's building to a Category 4. I don't know if we're going to be without power. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the roof is going to blow off of this place and I'll be carried away in the wind somewhere and not make it out after this. I don't know if I do make it, if there will be electricity. I don't know what it's going to be like navigating Houston, Texas temperatures without any electricity. I don't know what's going to happen to other people here that I care about, what's going to happen in the households of families, that there are several family members and children there, and they have animals, and they may hear these winds coming through, and lightning and possible tornadoes, and may feel a lot of fear. And really, I can't control any of that. I acknowledge that I can't control any of that. And I feel a little bit concerned about it, because who knows what the outcome is going to be. But what I do know, and then you switch it. But what I do know is that there's not a single thing that you don't know about. You know what my needs are. You know what the needs are of every single person that's in the wake of this hurricane. You know that that we've got families, and we've got loved ones, and we've got pets, and we have property, and all of those things that we're feeling concerned about. And we know that you have a concern for us, that you're concerned about our well-being, and that you're perfecting the things that concern us. Surrendering into your hands my well-being and the well-being of everybody else involved. All of these people who are dealing with so many things already, even outside of the context of a hurricane, but that just added on to everything else. I know that you love us. I know that you care about us. I know that you are guiding us and protecting us. And what's the worst thing that could happen in this situation? The worst thing that could happen in this situation is that we'll leave the planet at this time. That this will be the event that calls us back home to you. And if that happens, is that the end of the world? No, it really isn't. because in your presence there is peace, and in your presence there is joy, and in your presence there is bliss. And where I may not be consciously ready to leave the planet at this time, and may not necessarily be consciously ready for people that I care about to leave the planet at this time, I know that there is a better place, a better realm of existence than in this world where there's so much chaos and turmoil. And I'm thankful for that opportunity. There are so many things that I can't control, but there are some things that I can control. There are some things that I can do to put things in place. Give me the strength and the energy and the determination to do those things. Be with me in the process of while I'm working these things out that are within the realm and within the spectrum of the things that I can handle, where I can therefore do my part. Be with me in this process. Be with us all as we're working out these things that we each need to work out in this journey called life at this particular time, and to be present to everything that this particular moment calls forth within us. I know that you're with us. I know that you're guiding us. I know that you're giving us strength in the midst of all this. And I'm going to thank you for all of the bountiful, bright blessings that you continuously bestow upon us. There have been so many times in the past where we didn't think things were going to work out, or didn't know how things were going to work out, but still somehow you were there. Still somehow you made a way where we couldn't see a way. Still somehow, even when things happened that we wouldn't have wanted to have happened, you still guided us through. You sent people to see about us. You allowed different avenues and different opportunities to unfold. And maybe we wouldn't have voted for the things to happen the way that they did. Maybe there are things that we would have preferred to have unfolded. But you, in the midst of it, no matter what, you were still there with us. You still presented resources and opportunities. There were still doors that were open. And I'm so thankful for that. And I know that you're going to do that again in this situation. I know that you're going to do that again in this situation. I accept and I receive that you love us, that you love each and every one of us, and that you love me. And I thank you for that. I thank you for your presence in this moment right now. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to express these things and know that I'm not just speaking into the air, but that you're hearing me. I know that even right now that I'm not alone, that there are a band of witnesses all about me. I'm thankful for those who have gone before me and are now in the ancestral realm, who continue to love me and to support me. I give great thanks for the angels that are around and about me, those beings of light that are here in great support and extreme love beyond what I even understand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And even as we get to the other side of that, thank you for bringing us in advance. Thank you for bringing us to the other side of it. Thank you that everything ended up working out all in the end anyway. Thank you so much that the people that I care about are also taken care of, that they're being guided and directed, that you've got your angels around them too. Thank you that new doors of opportunities are opening that I don't even have any idea what they are. Thank you for this and for so many other things that I couldn't even have time to give thanks for all of those things, but I'm just really grateful and deeply appreciative. I thank you that you love me, and thank you for letting me know it. Thank you for letting me know it. Thank you for letting me to receive that. And thank you for touching my heart to feel also a love for you. I give great thanks for these and so many other blessings in the name and the nature of Jesus the Christ. Ashe and amen. All right. Well, so that's kind of an example, if you will, of how you can kind of take those same principles and put them into prayer. And I have to tell you that I definitely feel a peace about me right now. Now, regardless of what happens with this hurricane, or what happens with so many other different things. I definitely am very present right now in this moment to a significant peace, and I'm very thankful for that. Now, I just want to check in with you all. I see that um, Gail has commented. Dulcie says, "Amen and yeehaw." um, I see that Gail has also commented about not sure how things keep happening. And I don't know, Gail, can you kind of maybe elaborate on that a little bit? Um, Also, if there's anybody who's in desire of some healing, we're not going to be on for 2 hours plus this week like we were last week, because there's still some things I need to get in motion. Um, but I do want to make it available. If there's anybody who's actually wanting to receive some healing now, we can make that available, or at least uh, offer as a vessel and extension of healing. Make that available. Is there anybody who's desiring any level of healing at this time? Certainly more than happy to offer that service. If there's anybody feeling a need or a desire for that. And also, want to let you know that the healing, it's not just something that I can do. It's something that is available for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. Even if you don't feel comfortable in this context, reach out to me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can direct message me on either one at RoyceFThomason. I'll probably see it more readily, honestly, on Instagram than I will on Facebook. Although, to be honest, I can miss communication no matter where you send it, whether it's a voicemail or a text message or Instagram or Facebook or email or what's the other one for business? LinkedIn. It's possible that I can miss it however you send it. So if you send me some communication and you don't hear back from me in a couple of days or so, just reach out to me again, because it's very possible that I didn't see it. And then once I don't see something, once a bunch of other things start coming in, it's a pretty decent chance that I will end up not seeing it. So charge it to my head and not my heart. It doesn't mean that I don't think that you're important or anything. I probably just did not see it. And it may be beneficial to reach out again. Okay, so I see that there are a couple comments. One day, okay, moving forward, back, then back. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, to hurt and pain. Now, Gail, are you talking about physical pain? Or are you talking about like some kind of emotional pain? Can you kind of give us a little bit more idea, a little bit more clarification there? We're certainly happy to offer some support. And if anybody else has anything that you'd like to add, again, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Again, I don't even know who's here except for those who've commented. I see that Dulcie and Gail have both commented. I know that we've had other people who've come through, but I'm not sure who those people are. And even if you could just, even if you like it, I can't see that until after the video's over. But even if you're just dropping through, please, just put in the comment hello or wave or something like that. We'd love to know that you were here. Certainly want to acknowledge your presence, and even just know that you were here. So that's always a benefit. The thing is, I'm looking at a green dot, and then I've got this ring light that's right behind the green dot. So I'm looking into kind of Uh, Actually, I'm looking into the light, but not that kind of light. So I'm not actually seeing a person or anything. So knowing who the actual people are that are out there, that definitely is something that I really appreciate. Um, and Okay, so I see that Gail mentioned about emotional trauma. So how is that emotional hurt and pain showing up for you right now? Like on a scale of 0 to 10, Gail, would you rate it with 0 being no emotional hurt, no emotional pain, no emotional discomfort whatsoever, and 10 being the worst that you could ever possibly imagine? Where would you rate that emotional uh, hurt and trauma right now on that 0 to 10 scale? If you could please just let us know that, we definitely would appreciate that. And while Gail is hopefully writing that, again, this isn't just unique to me. I'm blessed to be able to support people in their healing. It's not that I'm any better than anybody else by any means. It's something that is planted within each of us. The spark of God exists within each and every single one of us, and the same power um, exists within each and every one of us. It's just a matter of accessing it. So if you want to actually learn how to access this as well, um, and I know Dulcie, at least you were here. I don't know if you're still here or not. Um, ended up going through the training and end up having some wonderful experiences. And there are others. I don't know if Jennifer is here today or not. She sometimes drops through, end up going through the training. And these folks can do the stuff just as well as I can. They learned it over a weekend, last weekend, not this past weekend, but a week and a half ago. So, Gail, you say your emotional hurt and pain is on a level of a 9. Okay, so let's address that right now. And I'm just going to do a quick prayer. A lot of times I'll do this silently, but for the sake of things today, I'll go ahead and do it out loud, and we'll see if we can at least drop that down a couple points. So, God, I know you to be a healer. And through the union that we share through the power of your pure love, the God in me demonstrates you as a healer on the behalf of Gail Emerson, neutralizing the root cause of all emotional pain and trauma that she's experiencing right now from the entire energetic structure of every strand of DNA in every cell of her body, every string particle of her existence, and transmuting that into and replacing it with a sense of peace of mind, with a sense of feeling safe and protected. And I bear witness to her feeling the peace of God that passes all understanding, that just gives her a tremendous amount of comfort. And I bear witness to her wholeness on this date and in this time and space called now. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this gift of your divine love. It is done. It is done. It is done. All right. And so we're going to just look at any, and I'm not going to verbalize a lot of specific stuff. I'll kind of verbalize some general things. Let's begin to get to the root of the trauma, going back actually 9 generations, and we'll begin to offer healing where that's concerned, welcoming in the presence of God from you at 9 generations back, and going also 3 generations forward. Okay, that actually is where the issue appears to be during that span of 9 generations behind and 3 generations forward. Okay, and that's actually looking much stronger right now, as it is right now. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, now Gail, on that scale of 0 to 10, where would you rate it right now in this moment? Dulcie says she is still here. Transcending the Matrix training was powerful, life-changing, and very worthwhile. I'm so glad that you feel that way, Dulcie. And so pleased and thankful to see how you're utilizing it and how it's making such a difference in your life and people that you're working with. Okay, so Gail, it's gone from a 9 down to a 6. All right, so that's fantastic. It's dropped by a third. Let's see if we can give you a little bit more support where that's okay, where that's concerned, if that's all right with you. Okay, so let's look at okay, let me look at just for a moment. I want to look at the limbic system in the brain, and very specifically nurture the limbic system in terms of memories that are stored there, emotional memories that are stored there, and bringing light to those, offering a greater sense of peace, so those buttons don't trigger in that same way. All right. And we want to actually infuse amygdala with love and light and a sense of peace and harmony and balance. Okay. And let's look at brain and just any place where there might be a skip in the record, kind of fixing that groove so that cycle isn't repeating, but so that it can truly go forward. Okay, and open up some new neural pathways of well-being. Okay, and healthy brain synapses firing. All right, so Gail, on a scale of 0 to 10, thank you. On a scale of 0 to 10, where would you rate it right now? If you can just jot that in the chat. Okay. So I know, Dulce, you expressed an interest in level 2, and that's what I'm kind of doing right now, is kind of getting into level 2, mental and emotional healing, neurological upgrading, and brain optimization. All right, so we've now got it down to a 3. All right, so that's very good to see. All right, would you like to go a little further, Gail? Be certainly more than happy to offer some further assistance where that's concerned. And Dulcie says, woohoo! So at 12:58, Gail said it was at a 9. And then at 4 minutes later, at 1:02, well, at least my time, I think you're in Michigan still, Gail, where it's an hour ahead. 4 minutes later, it was at a 6. And then 3 minutes after that, at a 3. All right. Okay. This is beautiful. This is really beautiful to see. Okay, so let's actually look at just the overall central nervous system and increasing the efficiency of energy movement through the central nervous system. Okay, and really actually upgrading the gauge of the wiring in your central nervous system so that it can handle more energy going across it, so that it's not overtaxed or anything. Okay. Alrighty, and let's actually increase that by 230%. Okay. All right. Okay. And also actually deepening the connection between the master cell and the creator cell, and the connection from the creator cell to the master cell, offering a completely clear, free, harmonious line of communication. Okay. All right, Gail, how do you feel right now? Where would you rate it right now? If you can just jot that in the chat when you get an opportunity. You put a smiley face. I think that's a smiley face. It looks like a smiley face. So all of us have certain natural innate gifts and talents that we can utilize. And also we all have latent gifts and talents that we can all utilize. Woohoo! All righty. Said she's free of it now. Okay, that is beautiful. So in a span of 10 minutes, because it was, in a span of 10 minutes, went from 9 to being free of it. And God, we thank you so much for this healing that you've made available on behalf of my dear sister Gail. And thank you for the opportunity to participate in this. And thank you for clarifying my vision in this process. Thank you for all of your gifts of your divine love. It is done. It is done. It is done. All right. Okay. So, again, we all have this within us. There isn't anything really particularly special about me. I say this all the time. Maybe, for whatever reason, I was allowed to be a vessel through which this came and is presented to people. But really, quite truly, it's in each and every one of us. It's in every one of us. Makes me think about the song, It's in Every One of Us. Shayna Knoll did the song, and I know that David Pomerantz also sang a song called It's in Every One of Us. It's in every one of us. This ability is in each and every one of us. It's just a matter of accessing it. Okay. And every single one of us can access it. All it takes is a little bit of an open mind and an open heart. Okay. And the same kind of things that you're able to see happen for Gail today. So beautiful that was able to happen for Gail today. That can happen for you as well. And just like I was able to kind of be a vessel through which that was able to be facilitated or helped to unfold, you can be a person who is able to support people in a spirit of love and service, similarly to help such things unfold for them, whether it's family members or pets or people that you might interact with in your business life or clientele. If you're in ministry, your parishioners, or if you're in the healthcare or mental health industry, your patients. It can be used in all kinds of different ways. It's a beautiful way to participate with God. Yeah, a beautiful way to participate with God and to allow God to move through you, flow through you, and work through you, and for you to experience the miracle working power of God's love at work. Because that's exactly what it is, the miracle working power of God at work. So, Dulce said signs, miracles, and wonders. Yes. And I always maintain that the real miracles aren't walking on water and turning water into wine and things of that nature. They're fascinating, but those things are the signs and wonders. The miracles are what happens in the heart. And the miracles are what happens in the heart. heart, how a person changes from the inside. That's where the real miracles take place. Um, and miracles are ripe and for the taking, or let me not say for the taking, and for the receiving. And yes, Dulcie works on animals too. Dulcie utilized it on her calf, not the lower part of her leg calf, but actually like baby cow, and was able to witness and experience some beautiful results with that as well. And I'm so happy and thankful that you were able to experience that, Dulcie. Does anybody have any questions or anything before we close out for today? I'd certainly be happy to answer a couple questions if anybody has any questions or anything. I'll be closing off pretty soon. I need to make sure all my devices are fully charged and everything, and get my laundry into the dryer while there's still reasonable certainty of electricity being used, and just a couple other things that I need to tend to. Okay, I don't see any questions so far. Again, I know that there's a little bit of a time delay. Also, anybody who's actually interested in learning how to do this, I would love to see what I call a healer in every home. Ultimately, God is the healer, but we can certainly show up as vessels through which that healing manifests itself. And it can be utilized for ourselves, our loved ones, our four-legged family members, or our winged family members. It can be used, whether in person or in a distance. I believe that Gail is in Michigan and I'm in Texas. And we're just here online together. So, and it works equally as well as if she was sitting here with me in my living room. I am just really thrilled and honored to be able to utilize this and to share it, and certainly happy to do so. Again, if you have any interest in learning this, more than happy to share it. Again, just send me a direct message on Instagram at RoyceFThomason, or on Facebook. Send me a direct message at RoyceFThomason. And if you don't hear back from me within 2 days, just message me back. Okay. If the power ends up going out, there's a decent chance you won't hear back from me in 2 days, because I'll probably be trying to conserve electricity. Neither my cell phone nor my laptop hold juice very long. So if it ends up being a few days, I'll probably be conserving the electricity uses of the devices, the juice in the devices. But if nobody has any other questions or any comments, I love you. And I pray that really beautiful things are unfolding for you in the midst of whatever things you might be experiencing in life. I know that you're never alone, that God is with you, loves you, cares about you. And there are people that care about you too. I'm one of them. God bless you. I love you. I wish you many beautiful things unfolding in your life today and in the coming week. And I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Okay. All right. You take care.